Hey guys, my name is Vishal and I welcome you all to yet another session by Edureka. In today's session, we would be talking about AWS CodeCommit. Before we get into the nitty-gritties of this topic, let us take a look at the offerings of today's session first. So first and foremost, I would start this session by talking about what is AWS and what is DevOps. Then we would understand what is continuous integration and deployment. Moving further, we would get into the details of this particular service, that is AWS CodeCommit. And finally, I would finish things off with the demo part where I would give you a walkthrough as to how AWS CodeCommit service actually works. So I hope this agenda is clear to you guys. So let us not waste any time and quickly get started then. Again, guys, in this session, I would be talking about AWS and DevOps in short. This being a session which focuses on AWS CodeCommit, let us not talk about these things in detail, that is AWS and DevOps. In case if you're interested in knowing about these topics in detail, you can visit our YouTube channel and take a look at the AWS and the DevOps stack, where we've talked about these services in detail. Having said that, guys, let us quickly take a look at what AWS exactly is. To keep it simple, it is a secure cloud service platform or a service provider that provides you with various services like computation, storage, database, monitoring services, content delivery services, and various other functionalities that help you in developing and deploying softwares at a faster rate, and which ensures that your business scales and grows at an equal pace. Now, this being a cloud service vendor, it means that you can rent these services and use them for the time duration you want to use them, and use them only in the amounts that you wish to use them, and you'd be billed only for that duration. So it is a fairly nice service and it is one of the leading cloud service providers in the market. So again, if you wish to know more about it, you can actually go ahead and visit our channel. Moving further, let's try to understand what is DevOps. Now, again, guys, DevOps is an approach that basically fills in the barrier between the developer team and the operator team. Now, when you talk about a developer team, they are responsible for releasing software versions at a faster pace. So they have to develop codes. They have to ensure that this code, it goes into the production environment. Same is with the operator team. Once the code is developed by the developer team, they're responsible for actually going ahead and working or making certain changes to these codes and making sure that this code works in the production environment properly. Now, if the code does not work in the production environment properly, operators might feel that it is the fault of the developers. But at times, the code that works in the development environment may not always work in the production environment. So there is actually a gap between these two teams. And if there was something that actually filled in this void, it would be really nice. And that is what DevOps does. It basically ensures that these two teams work together. How does it happen? Well, the next bit basically answers this question. What is continuous integration and delivery? Now, basically, this approach comes into picture that fills in this void a little bit. What this approach does is it basically helps you split the entire code into smaller chunks and segments. Now, these are manageable pieces of code which can be actually integrated continuously and can also be deployed or delivered continuously. So there is a constant development process, and if there are any changes that are committed by a particular developer or made changes or certain changes that are incorporated by the operator, those can be committed right away, and you have a version control system that basically ensures that the changes that were committed, the latest, those changes or that copy is made available to everyone, so that there is no ambiguity or clashes between these two teams. Again, how does this approach work exactly? Well, basically, certain processes are automated. You have a source code repository, or think of it as a version control infrastructure where you can put in all your codes, and the versions of these pieces of codes are maintained. Again, you have something called as a build server and a mechanism that ensures that your software gets tested continuously. So all these things ensure that your software is built or your code is built, it is compiled, it is reviewed, it is unit tested, integrated, packaged, and this process happens continuously so that the process of developing software becomes easier, faster, and optimized. So this is what continuous integration and delivery does. Now, next we have something called as, or a main topic of discussion, that is AWS CodeCommit. Again, I just talked about AWS, I just talked about DevOps, and now I'm talking about AWS CodeCommit. So you might be wondering as in what is the link? Now, DevOps being a popular approach and AWS being a popular cloud service, both were in demand or both are in demand. So when you talk about DevOps and when you talk about AWS, people wonder as in, can you implement or carry out this DevOps approach on AWS? Well, AWS responded to this request with plethora of services or a set of services basically that ensured that you could actually go ahead and carry out the process of continuous integration and deployment on cloud as well. And one of those services is AWS CodeCommit. Now, in the previous slide, I talked about source code repository where you actually go ahead and dump in your versions of codes. So when you talk about this repository, in general, you have something called as Git, which is a version control infrastructure. Now on it, you can actually go ahead and push and pull all your codes, or these codes or pieces of codes are called as repositories basically. So you can do that on Git. What AWS thought was, what if you could have this kind of version control device that is in-house, or that is something that runs on the cloud platform? So they came up with a solution to this, and they had their own version control device, which was called as AWS CodeCommit. Well, to go with the definition, when you take a look at AWS CodeCommit's definition, it is a version control service which is hosted by AWS that you can use to privately store and manage assets. When you talk about these assets, these can be documents, your source code, your binary files, and you can actually go ahead and do all these things in the cloud. So yes, as I've already mentioned, it is an in-house repository or infrastructure rather that lets you host or hold repositories. So yeah, this is what it does. It basically gives you an environment where you can actually go ahead and commit your code, push it, pull it. What are its benefits basically? Well, what it does is it lets you store any type of code. I mean, there are very less restrictions on the type and the extensions of codes that you store, and you can do that anytime. And the other benefit that happens here is it is highly secure. Your code that you push and pull, it is basically encrypted. So security is something that you do not have to worry about. It ensures collaborative work. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, when you talk about collaborative work, yes, I talked about code commit where you can actually go ahead and push and pull your piece of code. So the fact that you can do it continuously and you can give proper access to people who can access this piece of code, who can make changes to it under different IAM users and under different security groups, this process becomes very collaborative, very engaging, and many people can work on it, commit on it, or comment on it rather, and actually go ahead and suggest quite a few things. Scale easily. Now that is the other benefit, where the pieces of codes or your infrastructure that you have, when you talk about cloud platform and any service, it ensures scalability, and so does the amount of code that you push on this particular service. The best thing about it is it places your code in such locations or such places that it becomes very easy to integrate with your third-party tools as well. So guys, these are some of the benefits of using AWS CodeCommit. So guys, I've gone ahead and I've switched into my AWS console. In case if you are new to AWS and if you are new to some of my sessions, you might not know what AWS console is. In that case, I would suggest that you actually go ahead and create a free tier account on AWS website. All you have to do is search for AWS free tier. You would be redirected to this website where you'd be asked to sign up. Go ahead and put in your details. Why do you want to use this account? Probably put in your credit card or debit card details and get access to all the free services for one complete year. Yes, there is a cap on these services, so you have to use them in particular limits, and if you follow those limits, you won't be charged. Once you have an account, you can do whatever I'm going to do in today's session. So go ahead and create one account if you don't have one. If you have one, let us just move further and see what we can do. So in this session, we are going to go ahead and create a repository on CodeCommit. We're going to push a piece of code, we're going to create a branch for it, and probably commit certain changes to it as well. To do that, you have to set up your GitHub repository, or basically you have to set up your CodeCommit repository. So how do you do that? You have to go ahead and create an IAM user and a security group, or a group basically under which you can have those users which have particular access to these resources. So I'm going to create one single user which lies under one group only. Let us see how do you do that. To do that, first type IAM. You can search it here and hit the enter button. Once you do that, guys, there is something called as users here. Go there and say create a user. Let us call it CC, that is CodeCommit demo, and I'm gonna give it AWS management console access only for now. It says create a group for that. Let's say okay, let's create one. So let's give it a name as well, say CC underscore group, and we would need to select access policy. So AWS has some predefined policies, we can use those. I'm gonna give full access for now. if you are using maybe more secure data or something like that, you might want to customize your policies as well, which you can do. For now, let's stick to the basic one and say create group. So the group is created, guys. Now let us just go ahead and say next. Key value pair, I don't need it for now. Next again. And there you go, guys. A user is created. So when you actually go ahead and use this particular user, you can decide what kind of access do you want to have to your code commit repositories. Do you want to access it by SSH? You can use SSH as well and HTTPS as well. So in this session, we are going to keep it simple, HTTPS. You can do it by SSH as well, but that is not for today's session. In the next session, probably we will be talking about how can you connect to your repository through SSH. So let's just go ahead and switch into the code commit service. So then you have your code commit basically. Guys, let us just go ahead and create a simple repository first. I say create. Let's name it, say, sample repository. I'm very bad at naming conventions, guys, so forgive me. And description for today's demo. The reason we put in these details is so that you can differentiate between different repositories, because while working on projects, you might have various repositories. I'm signed in as a root user, so I cannot SSH is what it says. We won't be doing that anyways. We're gonna go ahead and HTTP it for now. Here are the details. If you wish to avoid SSH, you can actually go ahead and go through the details as well. Or if you wish to don't want to go through all this process, you can learn more about it here basically. This is credential helper. Now our repository is empty, guys. We've just created a repository. So let's create a demo file for now. Let's say welcome to the session. Guys, there would be an actual code here. So this being a demo part, I won't be getting into the details. So this is not how the files look actually. Yeah, there you go. So guys, in our past 2 to 3 minutes, we've actually set up a code commit group user and we've created a repository, and now we are putting in data into that thing. So let's call this file, say, demo.txt. Author name, let's stick to my name. There you go. Just putting in a comment. And there you go, guys. My repository is created and there is a piece of code that has been pushed. It has been pushed to the master branch. You can create a pull request as well, guys, if you wish to. If you go to the repositories, you can clone this particular piece of code as well. If you wish to clone HTTPS, SSH, you can do that as well. If you go to the repositories part, you would see this repository here, and you can actually go ahead and do quite a few other things as well. You can create branches of it as well. Say, for example, I come here and I say create a branch. Let's call it, say, demo branch 2, branch from master, and I say create a branch, and a branch would be created, guys, right away. You can select that, open that, and that too will have a demo text file, right? So if I just say edit it, I can come here and I can just go ahead and say changes were made. There you go. And let me just scroll down. Let's say author name is again my name, my email address, and I say commit changes. So there you go. You've actually gone ahead and made changes to the branch. This is my sample repository. You can switch here and you can actually go ahead and make changes to the master branch as well. And if you wish, you can actually go ahead and pull this particular piece of code and you can just compare it with your demo branch as well. Compare. It's mergeable, it says. You can actually go ahead and say create. Okay, so now if I just go back to the branches, I come to my master branch. It looks like this. And if I go to my sample branch, there you go. If I go to the repositories part and then to the branches, I can come here. I can see all the changes that are here. So if I actually go ahead and make changes to my master branch, which I did not do in this case, I just made changes to my sample repository. If you actually go ahead and go back and make changes to your master branch or any of the branches, and then you actually merge those two pieces of code, you can actually get the refreshed copy, whatever you're using. And the fact that you've put in your email IDs and stuff like that, you would be notified You can even actually go ahead and create a notification group using your you have groups here in AWS that let you actually go ahead and pass messages. You can use SNS and stuff like that, using which you can actually pass in messages as well, so that in case if certain changes are made, you would be notified in the form of those messages as well. So guys, there you go. In this session, we've actually gone ahead and created a repository. We've actually gone ahead and created a branch out of it, and we've made changes to the branch as well. And then I've actually shown you people as in how you can go ahead and merge the changes that are there and have the best copy with you so that you can actually go ahead and implement the freshest of copies that you wish to use. So this is about AWS CodeCommit. I believe that you will had something nice and new to learn. So that's it guys. As far as this particular session goes, I would be resting it here and here. If you liked this video, you can like this video, and if you do have any queries, you can actually go ahead and put it in the comment section so that we can get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!